Hey guys, Pinobi here, bringing you another Yu-Gi-Oh! Decklist video. This one's going to be a Gravekeeper's decklist. The reason I've kind of decided to go with the Gravekeeper's decklist today is because the Merrick structure just came out, which includes Mirror Force, Book of Moon, Foolish Burial, a lot of really good cards, even some, in my opinion, good kind of tech cards like Lava Golem, and it also comes with some, Allure, but then there's Gravekeepers. Pretty much, if you buy 2 of the structures, you'll just about have all the Gravekeeper kind of stuff that you would ever need to make a Gravekeeper deck. Well, not completely. You'll still be missing some staples and a few other key cards, but I'll go over that. The point is, if you're someone that's watching these videos and maybe wants to get back in the game, or maybe if you've been thinking about it for a while, or maybe if you just want to make a new deck for fun, the Merrick structure might, provide that opportunity for you. It's, probably about $10 or something, and like I said, it comes with a Mirror Force. Even a lot of the older players that don't play anymore should recognize that card. A very good card, finally released as a common. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over this deck list, and I run it a little bit different than most people, I would say. A little more conventional, less conventional rather. Another reason I kind of decided to... No, actually, a reason that I haven't decided to do this until now is because I am actually a part of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Team, for those of you that don't know, and one of my teammates is very good with Gravekeepers, has had a very competitive Gravekeepers deck for a long time, way before Merrick structure, way before the new Gravekeeper stuff like Descendant came out, which has really hyped up Gravekeepers, in the recent format. But enough about all that, let's just go ahead and get to the deck. I run 2 Gravekeepers Visionary, 3 Gravekeepers Commandant, 3 Gravekeepers Spy, 2 Gravekeepers Guard, and I suppose I should go with a little bit more detail. With Gravekeepers, it's kind of simplistic, the monsters at least, but just for a little more explanation, Gravekeeper's Guard, a lot of people play this card only at 1. 2 come in the structure, which might be motivating some people that aren't as experienced in deck construction to run 2. But I really like it when you combined it with Visionary, because Visionary is, of course, an 8-star monster, but he's only one sacrifice if you tribute a Gravekeeper, so he's pretty much a 1 tribute in this deck. And Gravekeeper's Guard with Necrovalley on the field, which you'll almost always have, the field spell, makes him sit there with 2400 defense, very difficult to get rid of, and you can, easily return one of their monsters, great to counter synchros, very anti-meta, and then tribute it off for a Visionary. So, I think Gravekeeper's Guard's a really great setup card in that way. He's great, he's very defensive, very, very solid, static defense kind of card. So yeah, 2 guard. A lot of people don't really run it like that. You definitely need to be running 3 spy and 3 descent, or 3 spy and 3 commandant, as I already went over, because commandant lets you get the field spell and spy lets you summon another Gravekeeper from your deck. So yeah, 2 descendant. Some people prefer to play it at 3, I think, but I definitely think 2 is plenty. He has an amazing effect. Tribute a Gravekeeper besides himself to blow up a card on the field. That is a very, very amazing effect. I believe you can even blow up another... Yeah, you can even blow up another Descendant. So a lot of cards like this, we'll say except for Gravekeeper's Descendant, but this says except for this card. So you could offer a second Descendant to do it. And it's really good because you can flip up Gravekeeper Spy to summon him from the deck, call priority for his effect, and tribute the Spy. So that's always nice. And in case he gets Bottomless, you definitely want to run 2. Let's see, 2 Gravekeepers Assailant. He's pretty much the next best Gravekeeper monster. He's pretty much the best basic Gravekeeper as far as offense goes. His effect is when Necrovalley is on the field, he can change the battle position of a monster he attacks, and since with Necrovalley he'll be at 2k attack, most monsters have less than 2k defense, he can destroy most things by battle. So very, very useful card. Almost like, for offensive purposes, it's almost like a Book of Moon, but the 1 Gravekeeper Spear Soldier, just 1. I like toolbox tactics. It's always good to have options. He's a piercer, good against fluff tokens, good against Dandelion, good against you know, goblin, zombie, and things that people throw in defense. Just nice to get that extra damage in. I actually used to run a Gravekeeper burn deck, and that was hilariously amazing. Speaking of which, one Gravekeeper's Cannonholder, like I said, toolbox, you just want to have options. His effect is you can offer a Gravekeeper besides himself to do... Actually, he might say besides Gravekeeper's Cannonholder. Yeah, besides Gravekeeper's Cannonholder, so you couldn't tribute a second one if you had to. But to inflict 700 points of damage, it's like a better cannon soldier. So, what's up with the cannons? I don't know that theme, but yeah, very cool, very good mechanic. You can, you know, Rite of Spirit him back, offer off a Gravekeeper priority, and win the game. You can, you know, flip a spy, call it for game. So, just good to get that extra damage in case they make it so you can't attack them or something. Then, the very last monster is one Blackwing, Gale the Whirlwind. For the spells, you've got 3 copies of Necrovalley. It's the field spell, it's the heart of the deck, it's anti-meta, it stops graveyard shenanigans, it stops Spore, Mizuki, Plague, just everything these days. Grandmaster's effect to get him back, I believe, because that activates in the graveyard. Pot of Avarice, Dark Eye OTK, all that kind of stuff. Just amazing card. One Royal Tribute. This is a card that doesn't come in the structure. This is a card you won't see probably hardly anyone use. Its effect is when you have Necrovalley on the field, you can activate it, and both players discard all monster cards from their hand. Now, this card was, in my opinion, not really that amazing before. It was pretty decent because if you just so happen to get lucky and draw a very spell-heavy hand, you could, you know, get really easy pluses off this card. Especially if you draw it first turn or something like that before they play a lot of their stuff out. Really great against monster-heavy hands. It's good because there's a lot of recruiters these days, so Gravekeepers have great field advantage, so you can, you know, wear down their field, the recruiters will add stuff to their hand, then you can Royal Tribute it off. So it's definitely a great card to utilize pluses. The reason you only want to run one, at least the reason I want to run one, is because it's not a card you're going to want to really try to go for more than once in a game, usually. And even though running things at multiples for consistency is a valid idea, you really don't want to have dead draw. This deck's very consistent, very field control. You don't really want the dead draw of, you know, drawing into another Royal Tribute when you don't plan on using it. Running one is fine. It's a cool little option that a lot of people overlook. And I'll talk a little bit more about it with this next card, Gravekeeper Stele. Its effect is add 2 Gravekeeper monsters from your graveyard to your hand, not up to 2. So keep in mind you do need to have, you know, 2 or more. But yeah, really cannot emphasize it enough. Broken card. This card revitalized Gravekeepers in my mind. Descendant definitely gave them more options. For toolbox and everything, but this is the card that really redefined the Gravekeeper metagame to me. It's an easy +1, and Visionary's effect is that whenever he'd be destroyed, keep in mind this is the tribute monster from, you know, before that I was referring to, that you only have to tribute 1 Gravekeeper to summon him. Whenever he'd be destroyed, you can send a Gravekeeper from your hand, or discard a Gravekeeper, I'm sorry, instead, meaning he will not be destroyed. So having Gravekeeper Stele to give you an instant +1 of Gravekeepers back to the hand maintains that really amazing field control with a huge beat stick. And it's also great for Royal Tribute because it allows you to run less monsters. Like, this build has 17 monsters, I believe. And yeah, it'll let you have less monsters so that you can, you know, Royal Tribute more easily and then get monsters back with Stele. You'll have no problem with proportions with this build. I've playtested it quite a bit, and it's just such an amazing card. Such an amazing card. Let's see. Next we have our draw cards. We have one Allure of Darkness, pretty much because every single monster in the deck is dark. You can Stele back to get, you know, more Gravekeepers, and then Allure of Darkness to get the spells and traps you need to balance out your hand so you don't have proportions with problems, or problem proportions. 1 trade-in. Now, you might think this is weird because you only have 2 targets in the deck, which is Visionary, so why would you have a trade-in if you only have 1 target? Well, with Stele, you can really abuse it. You can just get back... You essentially have 5 targets for trade-in. which is the same I have in my Plant Skill Drain deck, and I never really seem to dead draw trading too much there. It's pretty nice proportions, to be honest, and you're only running one. It works out quite well in my opinion. And Gravekeepers usually, like I said, have field control, so even if you do have a card that may seem dead draw, as long as you can make up for it, you can usually sit there for two or three turns with your big defense monsters to wait for your hand to even out, to start trading in to get the support you need to make your big push. So let's just keep going. 3 Book of Moon. This card is amazing in this format. It was amazing last format. It was amazing the format before that. And it's even more amazing in Gravekeepers because you have so many flip effect monsters. So let's say, you're realizing that you can almost make a push for game. You can flip up Spy. Or let's say they attack into Spy. That's a better scenario. They attack into Spy. You get out a Descendant. Your turn. You can book the Spy. Then manual flip it back up. Reactivate its effect. And now you'll have 4 monsters on the field from 1. Just by, making Book of Moon a catalyst. So you can use it offensively, you can use it defensively, you can stop synchros, which is one thing that could mess you up. And we'll go over that more. 1 Dark Hole, pretty much just in case they overwhelm you. Just in case they nuke your field with Black Rose and start synchro shenanigans, and you're kind of having some trouble. You can try to Dark Hole it off. 3 Rite of Spirits. This card is amazing, especially with Visionary. Trade in Visionary, or sack Visionary out for Visionary's own effect, or anything like that. Rite of Spirit and back. Rite of Spirit back Descendant. Rite of Spirit back Spy and book it and flip it next turn. I don't know. It's just an amazing card. It's like Call the Haunted, but you can chain it, and it doesn't matter if they destroy it because it's not continuous. Just really amazing card, especially since people are running 2 MSTs. Yeah, it's amazing. Continuing with the traps, we have 2 7 Tools of the Bandit. Normally you might want to run a cards like Trap Stun in this place, but considering that stuff like Solemn and Solemn Warning could really mess up your Visionary, because he can't stop counter traps. Counter traps is a good way to stop them from doing that. It also stops Deprison. Trap Stun could do that too. It also something that Trap Stun wouldn't let you do is Rite of Spirit in the same turn. Like, let's say you Rite of Spirit and they Bottomless and you chain Trap Stun. The chain will resolve backwards, meaning that Trap Stun will be considered to activate first, and it'll negate your very own Rite of Spirit. So that's the reason that 7 Tools is a much better card for this particular deck. Trap Stun is a debatable option for some other decks, although 7 Tools still might be the better option depending on the deck. 1 Starlight Road. One of the main, like I said, this deck is very field control. You're almost always going to have the field card and a monster. You're almost always going to have at least 2 cards in the field. People are running Black Rose all over the place. Normally, I think Starlight Road is a kind of card that you would want to have side decked in 2s. But I do think that this particular deck being so aggro, so field control, does merit the second Starlight Road. I mean, not the second Starlight Road, the main decked Starlight Road. Maybe it's just me, but it's something I'm still playtesting, but I think it works pretty well. It stops Black Rose, it stops Dark Hole, it stops Torrential, it stops Mirror Force. Everyone has a Mirror Force nowadays. Everyone's trying to blow up the field with Black Rose nowadays. So I think that 1 Starlight Road is really great. Especially because Necrovalley stops Stardust, I believe. So yeah, but when you summon a Stardust with Starlight Road, it only has its effect the first time because it wasn't summoned properly, which is something a lot of people don't understand. The Stardust Dragon you get with Starlight Road cannot bring itself back with its effect because it was not synchro summoned properly the first time, meaning, well, it's kind of a complicated mechanic, but you can't if I mill a Chaos Sorcerer, I cannot Monster Reborn it because I didn't fulfill its summoning condition the first time. And synchroing actually works that way as well. So yeah, let's just keep going. 1 Mirror Force. This is the common Mirror Force. Yeah, it came out in the structure. Crazy. 2 Bottomless. Staples. Stop synchro shenanigans before it happens, or you know, all that good stuff. And then 1 Torrential Tribute. So overall, this is a pretty amazing deck, if I say so myself. I have a lot of fun with it. Yeah, and it's something that a lot of you guys could utilize yourselves, considering that most of the cards are very readily available. So yeah, hope you guys really enjoyed this deck list video. That's pretty much it for me today.